All right. Hello, friends. Yo, on a Sunday. Oh, I said I wanted to do a hangover stream so badly. And here we are on a Sunday doing a hangover stream. Thanks for being here, friends. Glad to have you all. I don't know how many people. I haven't done a Sunday stream in what feels like 3 or 4 years. I kind of wrote off Sunday analysis for the longest time, but over the last few months, I've been doing it a little bit. So, good evening, good evening, good evening. Hope everyone's doing well. I have Mr. Ron G here. Ron, hello.
How we doing?
Hi, friends. Wow. How was everyone's weekend? Did you guys do anything fun? Tell me you did something a little bit more fun than me as we go through some names here. Well, actually, we did some fun stuff, but I'm just definitely hungover because of it now. Very aggressively hungover. Incredibly aggressively hungover, but that was kind of the goal, you know. I have been gone from New York for far too long, so it felt good to be back in the New York kind of summer. I missed 3 weekends in New York City, and that's a lot of time to miss in New York. Quite a bit of time to miss in New York. So I'm excited to be back. It was fun having Ron here. Our friend Zach, it was his birthday, so we celebrated his birthday and we went out, and that was the first time I've gone out like that in a long time. I have been effectively even at the meetups in LA and San Jose. San Jose I barely drank. That was Sunday. LA we took a shot or two, but aside from that, I had been on the straight and narrow in Hawaii for a few weeks by myself, just having an absolute blast, locked in. So it was fun to be around friends and hang out with people last night. Hey, hey, everybody. Franklin, what's up? Jonathan, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. That's brutal. Will it rain in NYC tomorrow? I don't think it's supposed to rain in NYC tomorrow. No, I'm not seeing any rain. Go full port on no rain on Kalshi. What's good, Matt? What's good, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good day. Yeah, so I just wanted to check in and do a little analysis on the market and kind of see the game plan for what might be coming up this week. I think we do have. Let's see, what's the earnings situation for the week? AMD has earnings this week. Oh, okay. So we are calming down a bit if that's the biggest one. We've got some of the smaller earnings names out there. AMD, SMCI, which I imagine has a pretty similar chart. Yeah.
PLTR, HIMS, and LLY.
HIMS, man. I've said this a few times before on stream. I have no position in HIMS right now. I originally had a position in HIMS from this little potential high or low right here, and I sold it. And that made me very sad because in hindsight, that would have been an excellent position to have. So HIMS earnings this week, let's see. Honestly, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do anything with it just because it's a little bit too volatile. That being said, I am a long-term believer in HIMS just because America has issues. America's got issues, and HIMS's business is built around issues that I feel like are here to stay. So we shall see, but that's an interesting one. I mainly also wanted to cover some of the indices and kind of see what do we have set up here. So this is a pretty ugly weekly bar on the indices. It's not great. It is reversible, but I would personally think that if there was going to be a candle that has valid reason to give us a bit of a pullback on the weekly time frame, that fits in the this fits in that. It's a pretty brutal candle. So I'm not heart set on lower this week. We might even end up spending this week kind of pausing and consolidating, maybe downside 1, 2, 3 next week. But this is a pretty harsh bar, and that in the grand scheme of things, if I'm looking for a candle to kind of show me whether or not it's just a pause bar or something that might actually cause a pullback, this is one that I could see actually causing a relatively significant pullback. So we'll see, because it has to trigger beneath its bar's low. It's got a little bit of work to do first, but that's a harsh bar. We failed to go higher. This small red candle here, I wouldn't look at this candle and expect that that's like the major reversal spot. I wouldn't look at this small little red candle and be like, that's where we're going to reverse. That's going to be ultimately cause us a weekly chart pullback. This type of bar, it's pretty significant because we erased 2 weeks of previous action. We failed to go higher. It's a pretty ugly candle, to put it lightly. It's not a fun candle. Not a fun candle, although it could provide some fun action. Yeah. Do you have thoughts on the NQ? Have you looked at it at all?
The NQ, yes. I mean, they're both pretty similar.
What do you think on the ES? Give me your ES thoughts.
I mean, if you're looking at the daily chart, we're at that massive daily consolidation low. So we're at the bottom of that range. For me, it's basically make or break. If we lose that, like if we get an early week consolidation, then look for like a 3-4 bar play to the downside. Under that, I think in reality, we have room to like 61.20s easily to that previous daily.
61.20. Oh, that's even lower. Where's that? On the.
Yeah, I'm not saying we go there like this week,
No,
but
no,
I'm saying
for
that's
sure.
where we can easily go see down to.
There's previous highs there too.
Yeah.
We've never tested those yet. It would make sense, structurally speaking, to test those, but
Especially on the weekly, it's basically higher low.
yeah, it would ultimately, again, while the daily would kind of be a shorter term downtrend. On the weekly, it would literally just be a higher low and would just be giving us a pullback. That is the way I lean at the moment as well. Some sort of consolidation early in the week, and then maybe even for the entire week, which would not be the most fortunate. But yeah, the more I look at this, and this is me determining this in real time, to be honest with you all. This isn't, I did no prep coming into this, as mentioned. Very hungover. We'll get the mic a little bit closer to Ron G the next time he talks.
My voice
But
is off though.
Ron's, yeah, to be fair, guys, Ron has also like basically lost his voice. So as much as it's a mic thing, Ron, the hangover stream is very accurately named. It's very, very accurately named that we are hungover. So what I would say, yeah, I didn't do any prep coming into this, and that was intentional. I wanted to kind of go through my process with you all, right? And kind of see like, okay, what am I seeing? What am I looking at? And everything Ron described is exactly what I'm kind of looking at. The last few days of action, pretty aggressive downside action. Why is this doing that? Pretty aggressive. For those of you who missed the shorts over the last few days, which I am also one of them, my biggest thing that I would say is do not FOMO and like rush into a short tomorrow, because the market has moved down a lot. The ES has moved down 200 points. I think the NQ has moved down like 1,000 points, something like that. I'm with you. I think that this looks bearish. I think that this ultimately looks like something that needs to go lower. But don't rush yourself into that tomorrow. I don't think that we're in the kind of market conditions where we're just effectively going to get like a 5% sell-off in 3 days. I'm not sure. So I'm not saying shorts can't work tomorrow. I'm just saying don't be in a mega rush to throw your entire portfolio on a short. That would be smart. That being said, based on the daily, based on this bar here, and then how we followed up that bar, right? We didn't reverse it. We didn't try to go higher. We just really failed from there. My gut says a little bit of consolidation, maybe even a test of these former lows. Let me see what we got from a levels perspective. Well, 62.89 will probably be the key pivot for me tomorrow. If 62.89 ends up, let's see how that kind of looks in here. If we can end up getting back above that level and holding above that level, I think in the short term we could see a small rally. But overall, for tomorrow, my expectation is that we'll probably peak out around that. Maybe we'll poke above it a little bit, maybe, but I wouldn't necessarily expect some massive move above 62.89. If we do, that would change my thought process a little bit. So, in terms of the NASDAQ and the level on the NASDAQ, I think the main one to come into play tomorrow. My charts are so messy. The main one to come into play tomorrow will probably be this 23,008, right? Which, again, for those of you who use round numbers, I don't think paying attention to 23,000 would be a bad idea. That's the area to kind of watch. It would surprise me if we straight up reversed over that level right away and immediately kind of worked back on some of this selling, right? That would surprise me. I would honestly be, yeah, if we made a massive upside move tomorrow over this 23, not ruling it out, but it would surprise me. In order for me to trade that, what I would need is I would need us to open above, retest. Yeah, it's just, it's hard. Even if we open up there, we're still fighting such a harsher red bar and such a harsher weekly chart. I would look more towards a failure than a hold over that. Yeah, but if we can, I wouldn't rule it out completely. Again, sorry if I'm going through this kind of slowly. One, I am hungover, and two, again, I didn't do prep for this. I wanted to kind of go through it in real time and show you all my thought process. So at the moment, ES and NQ having kind of similar structures and similar plans. I'm going to be watching these levels above for tomorrow. And truthfully, I'm not going to be, as of now, the expectation for me is not that I'll be looking for a gap above or a move above to go long. I'll more be looking to see how we react to those levels. Can we kind of set a lower high there? Can we set a failure there and either range out for the day or ultimately make that move down? But I would agree with Spencer's initial, my expectation is that the early week action here will be a bit slow, just because the market moved a lot over the past few days. And for those of you who know me, you know that I really, really care about TRT and not the, what is that? Not the testosterone version of it, but the way that charts move, which is called the TRT, trend range trend, right? It's one of the principles that I think everybody should have a general concept and understanding of, is that the market is always either trending or ranging. There's literally no in between. It's either trending or it's ranging, right? So knowing that, right, we know that the market will be in one of those two states. It's not going to maintain that state forever, right? And so if we kind of look at the last 2 days of action, after failing to go higher after FOMC, we got the FOMC move that I thought we might get. It was just not necessarily in the direction I thought it might go. I thought we might get this kind of follow-up post-day move, but I didn't expect the reversal and erasal. That happened, but we had a really strong trend, right? The natural process that comes after a strong trend is going to be a bit of a range. So not only am I going to be a little bit more hands-off in terms of like the trades that I take tomorrow, the size that I use. And I'm actually ready, I think. In August, I'm going to start, I'm not going to put on back to like full biggest size I've ever done. I don't know if I'll ever do that again, but September, I talked about this a little bit. September, October, November, October, November tend to be my best months of the year every year. I have no idea why. People ask why all the time. I don't know. But September, October, November, really October, November tend to be my best months of the year. January tends to be a red month for me. These are things that just I learn over time. Again, I wish I had an answer as to why, but it just tends to be that way. So I've kind of built my workflow around that, right? So throughout the months of June and July and August, June and July, I kind of, after I took big withdrawals as well, kind of slowed down and have just been trading a little bit of smaller size. But knowing that my best months historically are upcoming, I want to start getting back into that rhythm of trading a little bit bigger size. So not doing it all the way in August, but I'm starting, or even September, but I'm building there so that in October and November, I'll be able to capitalize on what are historically my best months. So that being said, even with me knowing that, I'm going to come into tomorrow with a little bit of a hands-off mentality. Not necessarily hands-off, but more, I would expect a range, right? And so this is one of the things that I think it's very fascinating to understand. You can have the best level system in the world, which I do believe that's the one that, I use. That being said, what's more important than the accuracy of the levels is the understanding of how they work. Because if your thought process is that as soon as breaks above 62.89, immediately go long, you might just not necessarily have the deeper understanding of the levels that you want, right? Which we not only could reject here, but this ultimately, if we're looking for a range in the market, this could be a spot where we get a range, right? I don't know what'll happen. I'm not sure whether we could take this out and trend higher or whether that's be a spot that we would reject and ultimately range, but I'm open to both scenarios, and that's kind of what I'll wait and see tomorrow. It's just not as simple. I wish it was, trust me. I wish it was as easy as just buy as soon as we get above, break, sell as soon as we get below. We'd all be a lot richer. I'll tell you that. We'd be significantly more rich, but we're not, because that's not the way it works. So that's my thoughts on the indices. That's really the main thing I wanted to cover, knowing that all of you are now, most of you are really heavy on the futures side. Some individual names that I've been checking out. Did you have any individual names that you wanted to cover?
I actually have a few. Okay. So on the bullish side, the main two that I see look the best right now is going to be gold, GLD. And then just looking at the weekly fail to go lower, if we can hold that, we can easily look towards 320s. And Walmart, one of the names that usually does well when the market's not, is probably one of the better setups at the moment.
So GLD, you like this failure to go lower, and it's kind of like a bull flag, right? It's yeah.
Yep, just that weekly bull flag. And then pretty similar to it is Walmart. Yeah, so I think bullish wise, those look good. Now other setups can play out during the week. I think a lot of charts just look bad from Monday. And then bearish, most part, I have Apple's one. It made a pretty aggressive move Friday, so we'll just have to see how that plays post earnings. But the weekly chart looks pretty rough. The daily chart's pretty rough on that. That can easily, I think, go down to 195s to those recent weekly lows if we get a continuation bar. But I also at the same time wouldn't hate a weekly consolidation bar on that.
Yeah.
And then names just like CRM. So I have CRM and then Snow are just two that are weaker as well. CRM, I would honestly like a retest of maybe 254. Get a little pushback up into that breakout or breakdown. Retest that if it's going to be bearish, and then make that move lower. Play that out. But I think a setup for the week that we can definitely watch out for is LLY post earnings. Because that was the monthly chart we were looking at Friday, and if the earnings is good or bad, I'd expect a decent move one way or another off that.
Yeah. Wow, I like it. Yeah, I see it. I like all the charts. Those are all. The nice part is about the system we use is that hopefully that you all can look at those charts and kind of understand it. We're not looking at some sort of super intense rocket science formula. This is straightforward relative strength and relative weakness, right? And Apple, very clear relative weakness on here. A harsh daily bar. I really did like that GLD chart as well. For futures traders, that'll be your /GC. And it is a good looking chart. I wouldn't mind a little smaller time frame pullback for a potential entry, but I like that slash DC as well. Plus, it's just been a tank all year long. It's been moving up and 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 up. So, yeah, I like that slash GC too. I think that's a nice looking one. Just one little response to one of the commentaries about Walmart and the not betting with the social media and the tariffs. So the good news is for especially for Ron G. Ron's a technical based day trader, right? And so as a technical based day trader, he doesn't really necessarily expose himself to some of the longer term things going surrounding them, right? So from a short term day trading perspective, it usually would be rare, although you do open yourself up to a little bit of volatility if they're in the tariffs. That being said, as a day trader, I think you'll keep yourself pretty safe from all that. Yeah.
100%. Plus, I don't think a social media boycott's going to impact Walmart's bottom line that much. And also, the tariffs aren't going to affect Walmart. It's going to affect the end consumer. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that with every company.
Yeah, the tariffs have actually the camera that Ron is using right now was previously like a $400 camera, and for $400, it's excellent. It's a great camera. Post tariffs, it's like $800. $800 camera. Now you're looking at like, well, paying for it, right? No, those names look good though. I like all of those. I'm intrigued. One that I'm gonna keep on watch as well, as much as it pains me to say, is my baby Coinbase. I love it from a long-term perspective. Okay with all of this action from a long-term perspective. Let me clear these. But short term, I'm not super hyped. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not incredibly excited about this short-term coin chart. And I'm not the type of guy that would sell shares, longer term shares that I have because I expect more of a pullback. But I will be open-minded to trading this downside potentially this week or in the next few weeks. I think that structurally speaking, as much as I love coin, it just kind of makes sense after this big failed breakout to come down and retest these former highs. And again, from a longer term investor perspective, am I happy that my investment's coming back down? No, I'm not stoked, but it'd be getting a decent pullback. And the structure would kind of maintain itself. So I'm watching for coin, as much as it saddens me to say, to potentially go sideways for a few days and then eventually lower. Yeah, it's not my happiest moment, but I am keeping an eye out on that. Yes, my friends, the My Fun and Futures winners were all announced in my Instagram broadcast channel, and if you were one of those 5 winners, I had one reach out. So fun. One of them actually not from this giveaway, but from a previous one at the LA meetup. Told me they got their first payout from a giveaway account, which was so sick. But yes, so they have delivered them all already. So all 5 winners have already received the accounts. You can be able to trade them literally this moment if you wanted to. We are going to be doing some more giveaways in the upcoming future along with the streams. I'm very excited this week. We'll be doing something special with Alpha Futures in London. And yeah, don't want to talk about it too much yet, but just know some exciting stuff is coming on that front, and definitely more chances to be giveaway winners, even if you did not use a code, which I know is a method. How my funded pick the winners, we're gonna. I want to going forward, make sure that's not the only method of picking winners. But yeah, and for those of you who missed the ES buy analysis, I am cautiously bearish, and not necessarily. I'm cautiously bearish. I think not in the immediate term, like today or tomorrow or Tuesday. I think it might take a couple of days to develop. But if we can take out and hold beneath that previous week's low, it makes sense to at least swipe lower and test lower a little bit. This was pretty harsh bar on the weekly chart. We could hold and range here, and I'm not completely ruling that out, but at the moment, my gut would lean towards a little bit of consolidation and then ultimately at least a test lower. And I'm usually pretty straight up, market goes straight up kind of guy. But that's where I lean at the moment. So I lean in Ron as well. I think we have similar thoughts on that, where early in this week, we're expecting some consolidation just based off of how much we trended last week. Yeah, it's just a little bit of consolidation. For tomorrow, again, the reason I stopped doing Sunday streams a while ago is because you do some analysis on Sunday night and then Monday morning it's all useless. Like, that being said, I think there's some absolute value you guys can gain from watching this analysis be performed. So again, at the moment, I have no idea how the market's going to open tomorrow, but one of the things I would be looking for is a poke above this level that kind of fails, right? So that's, again, at the moment, the very rough plan of what I'm looking for tomorrow. But yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. Let me see.
What's up, Sean?
All right, let's see what else we can find. Yeah, if you're interested in joining the Discord, code summer will still work. Again, I wish I had some little bit better trading last day too. And this is the goal of this is not to talk about that, but if you're asking, that would be the answer. Code summer. Let's see if we can find one or two more, or I really just want to check in on one of the other names that I hold in the long-term account, and that is Meta. So, Meta, in my opinion, is still one of the more bullish names in the market. I think it's going to ultimately end up taking a little bit of time. And at this point, retesting these former highs would be kind of a logical thought process for me. Right? So let me clear out some of these levels. Yeah, no, Fernando, I'm not. Those videos are on YouTube, so I think the world is fully aware of that. I'm not.
Four is also not losing.
No, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't define it as a losing streak, but yeah, I've taken a few losses in a row. Those videos are up and out there. So not trying to hide that in any way, shape, or form. So we did test that former high already. Yeah, I mean, Meta might take another day or two, but if the market were to be strong, again, I'm not necessarily expecting a bunch of strength out of the market. But Meta is going to be a name that will like permanently this year be on long watch for me. I really do think that. This weekly chart has a lot of potential. Those 784 highs also look like a nice target away. So, all right, doing a little recap here as we are about 30 minutes into the stream, and we'll probably call it a night soon, the hangover stream. What is your chart background color code? Does this answer it? It's a preset color for it. It's a preset color. So hopefully that answers your question. But it's that preset kind of dark blue. Oh, you can't see the... Let's see if I can find this. Well... Probably, I'm sorry. I would DM me and I'll find a way to show you this screenshot. But it's a preset. It's just a preset color. It's a preset kind of like navy blue. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I trade the stocks that I'm talking about right now. We're going through them, and this is the kind of the process of me trying to figure out what I may find and what I may trade. I looked at Tesla. There's a reason I didn't cover it. I'm not super interested in it yet. I think it still might be range bound, but I will say it's been stuck in a range. So when Tesla does finally kind of break this range and snap, it will be an aggressive snap. Don't I don't have a preference on direction at the moment. I think it'll be market dependent. This looks like down, but you scroll out to the monthly and that looks like up. So I don't know. What I would love as someone who wants to buy more Tesla is a spike down to like the 260s area, a spike down to the 260s that I can kind of buy, and then the monthly fails to go lower. That would be very nice on Tesla. I do trade the NASDAQ, yes. Every day. She's my toxic queen. But yeah, that was what we saw on Tesla. I liked what Ron had saw on Walmart. This is really nice consolidation. And a really nice daily kind of potential higher low right there. So I like what Ron saw on Walmart. I like the /GC thought process for looking for a breakout. And then for me, the biggest focus is going to be the NASDAQ, right? As always, the biggest focus for me is the NASDAQ. Looking at this like 2308 area. Again, that will be where I'm kind of watching for a reaction tomorrow. We will see if how everything shapes up, but my gut would say that we'll do like a little poke above that and then end up ranging. Again, this could all change by tomorrow, and if we do get a gap above, I'm not ruling out the long, but I initially am looking more at a range day tomorrow just to kind of balance out what's happened over the past few days. Yeah, but that's my thought process. That's what I'm looking at. This has been a fun little hangover stream. Ron, do you have any ending thoughts?
Not that I can think of, but just expecting the few days of range and then seeing what happens.
Well, shucks. Well, thanks, friends. I very much appreciate you tuning in with us on this Sunday night. Like I said, I promise the next time you'll see me, I'll be a different man. But for now, the hangover looms strong. We'll leave this video up, all the other ones, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. So that being said, get a good night's sleep. I love you very, very much, and we'll talk tomorrow, all right? Thanks all for tuning in again. This was just fun, and I enjoyed being a little bit hungover with you all. So hope you got a little bit of value from some insight into how I look at some of those charts. So excited to break out of my little funk if I can, but really more importantly, I'm excited to be very patient tomorrow. I've been happy with my patience over the past few days, even if that hasn't resulted in great trades. It's resulted in me being extremely in control. At no point have I ever felt on tilt. All that. The biggest priority is just making sure that I can keep myself off of tilt. If I can do that and just keep my losses in this tame sort of range that they've been, oh my goodness, then cannot wait for the upside swing after. So, Ron, love you, bro.
Love you too, brother.
I appreciate you all so much for being here, and yeah, I really am having fun with the stream. So we're gonna try and keep this up a little bit. But yeah, I love you all. See you tomorrow, gang. Have a great night.